Good morning, everyone. It's cold today. Cool. It's not cold, cool. I had to put on my robe. uh, I did nothing yesterday except for taking care of all the animals. I didn't even wash the dishes. I just felt like I needed a day of rest, so I did. I did nothing. So I have nothing to tell. No. So let's just get going here. These are long reads here. Oh, this one isn't. I said that right then. Yes, okay. We are in the first book. We are in the book of Ezra. 3. Resumption of the sacrificial liturgy. Liturgy. When the 7th month came after the Israelites had been resettled in their towns, the people gathered as one person in Jerusalem. Then Yeshua, son of Jozadak, with his brother priests, and Zerubbabel, son of Shealtiel, with his brothers, set about rebuilding the altar of the God of Israel, to offer burnt offerings on it as prescribed in the law of Moses, man of God. They erected the altar on its old site, despite their fear of the people of the country, and on it they presented burnt offerings to Yahweh, burnt offerings morning and evening. They celebrated the Feast of Shelters as prescribed, offering daily the number of burnt offerings required from day to day, and in addition presented the continual burnt offerings prescribed by the Sabbaths, for the new moons, and for all the festivals sacred to Yahweh, as well as those voluntary offerings made by the individuals to Yahweh. Why would they be scared of the people of the country, despite their fear of the people of the country? Now, what's going on here now? Also, it seems like they're awfully busy with just busy work, right? I would say that, we're back. We've got to establish a good foundation of faith and belief in the people. Then what would you actually do? You'd go out and witness, wouldn't you? Especially since it sounds to me like these priests and Levites, they're so confused. They just kind of go with the flow of whatever, right? There's no constancy there. The constant rebuilding of the temple, the rebuilding of the altar. So, but I get it. But I have to say, wow, they were really busy with things. I have to say, is that really what was important to God? Hmm? Rather than study the law of God, the book of the laws of God, right? Study that. Well, they did. They studied some, and they're continuing on. Yeah, seems to be a lot more going on there than just that, though, right? Okay, we're getting this part. So, but why are they afraid of the people of the country? That's the people around them. So again, I have to say also, if you just return to a place you hadn't been there for a while, it doesn't say how long they were in Babylon here. I'm sure it says it somewhere. Then would you not try to first make some good relations with the people around you? And here they're already fearing each other. Okay, just where is this all gonna go again? Okay. From the first day of the 7th month, they began presenting burnt offerings to Yahweh, though the foundations of the temple of Yahweh had not yet been laid. What? Oh, yeah, they completely destroyed it? Yeah. Also, they also contributed money for the masons and carpenters, and food and drink and oil for the Sidonians and Tyrians for bringing cedar wood from Lebanon by sea to Jaffa, again, for which Cyrus, king of Persia, had given permission. It was, I wonder, again, all the, okay, and you know what? Why not just go out there and see how the people are faring and see if they need something, right? Here it is again. What is this? Does God really care about that? Heavenly Parent really care about this stuff? Why was this made so important? What for exactly? What's the purpose of this? To please God? It was in the second month of the second year after their arrival at the temple of God in Jerusalem that Zerubbabel, son of Shealtiel, and Yeshua, son of Jozadak, with the rest of their brothers, the priests and Levites, and all the people who had returned to Jerusalem from captivity, began to work by appointing some of the Levites who were 20 years old or more to superintend the work on the temple of Yahweh. Okay, I think I just made my point. The Levites, Yeshua, his sons, and his brothers, with Kadmiel, Binui, and his sons, the sons of Hodaviah, agreed to superintend the men working on the temple of God. Okay, why don't they work on it themselves? Seems like they got enough people. When the builders had laid the foundations of the temple of Yahweh, the priests in their robes stood forward with trumpets, and the Levites, the sons of Asaph, with cymbals to praise Yahweh according to the ordinances. Okay, now I wonder what they're saying. Of David, king of Israel. What does God have to do with that? I don't know, I'm just saying. They chanted praise and thanksgiving to Yahweh because for Israel, they said, he is good and everlasting in his faithful love. Then all the people raised a mighty shout of praise to Yahweh, since the foundations of the temple of Yahweh had now been laid. Many of the older priests, Levites, and heads of families who had seen the first temple wept very loudly when the foundations of this one were laid before their eyes. But many others shouted aloud for joy, so that nobody could distinguish the noise of the joyful shout from the noise of the people's weeping. For the people shouted so loudly that the noise could be heard far away. Okay, there it is. That's it. And we are done. Oh. Hmm. I come across, there's some things you just come across constantly. And I just came across, someone shared, the when the first will come last and the last will come first. What does that mean? Yeah. Well, to religious people, it means one thing. To other people, it means another. Again, yes, the weeping and the joy. All mixed up together, then you don't really know anymore who's crying actually and who's shouting for joy. Well, I think that with this, the first will come last and the last will come first. We're all going to have a bit of a rude awakening. I always wonder, okay, I spent time contemplating on why there are human beings who do such horrible things out there to other human beings. As an individual, a whole family, communities. Okay, lynching, that's a community thing. It's a mob thing. That's a community thing, right? For example, riots, for one reason or another, where then one goes, a mob, and steals and destroys things of others. That's a mob right there, right? Yes, that's an atrocious thing to do, in my opinion. No matter what, you don't resolve a conflict like that. And then there are the nations. Yes, yeah, yeah. Wars, fighting against each other. Well, there's always usually, well, again, I could read enough in there. I think we know that there is, for one reason or another, the leaders. It's always about the leaders, isn't it? If they can find peace with each other, then there's no need to send an army to go and fight another army, isn't there? Okay. And again, if the people just say, well, we're not, you guys are supposed to lead these countries, you guys figure it out, right? Have your own children stand against each other, and if you have any, and have them kill each other, see how that feels like. But we're not going out there and fighting wars for you anymore, for example. That would be a solution, right? Yes. Oh, that takes a lot of commitment. um, so here's the thing. So how do people get to that point? Nations, communities get to that point. Yet, well, but we're doing the right thing, are you? Uh, when I see what individuals, I'll use that example, are capable of out there to do to other human beings and children, that's really horrific, then I look at them going, how did you get there? Because there's no baby that will do any of that. So the environment that people grow up in, what they're being taught, given in abuse, this and that, again, there's usually that's traumas. This is usually what kind of is the predecessor of atrocious behavior of others. Well, who's doing that? All the good, righteous people out there that aren't stopping, for example, bullying. Or what? Peer parents? How does a child as young as first grade, second grade, even kindergarten become a bully? Where does a child learn that? How does a child get to that mindset? Even if, in rare instances, and they are rare, a child shows very little emotion or this or that, how does one work with that? Oh, well, we got labels for all kinds of things. Then we stick them in a box and put them on medication, right? Yes? Rather than, okay, let's find out what's going on here, actually. So that even people like that can grow into wonderful, beautiful human beings. Aha. Who are the ones who are preventing that? Oh, well, they're not all bad people, are they? They're good people. Good people who have a very negative influence on children. So, yes, to be a victim of atrocities of others is a horrible thing. But what was done to the perpetrators that they act in the way that they do? Are you kind of getting my drift on what I'm trying to say here? Yeah. We think as victims, we are victims of certain circumstances, this and that, that would make us what? Of course, the last ones. And we will be first. But how are the ones taught, supported, ignored when there was a problem, spoiled, who are capable of a lot of really, really bad things? How did they get there? And who's responsible for that? Just saying. But one thing, a child will never be last. when I say child, right? I think that should be clear. I'd say up to the age of 10 or 11, you're a child. And they're always first. They'll never be last. But for us adults, I hope you really contemplate. Are you going to be one of the first for sure? Do you live the good life? This not, and you've not done this not. Are you going to be first and not last? Just say, right? Yes? No. Anyway, that's what I wanted to share today. Don't have much else to share right now. So, yep, I think when it comes to the first will be last and the last will be first, we might have a very rude awakening who those first ones will be. Yeah? Not due to their actions, due to ours. Right? Yeah? All right, may Heavenly Father bless you today, protect you, embrace you with the love, and Heavenly Parent. Did I say Heavenly Father again? Oh, it's harder to change. Or change. Heavenly Parent. I want to become really united with that Heavenly Parent. Because it is way more intimate, isn't it? Yes. To me it is. And I will talk to you all tomorrow.